Hillary Clinton, and as you know, most people know, she's a world-class liar.
Former Vice President Joe Biden, clearly a part of this. His name came up during that call. Whether he did or didn't do anything wrong, and there's no proof that he did, President Trump keeps bringing that up, is there an optical problem for Joe Biden because his son was in a position to be making a lot of money from a company that was in a foreign country?
You know, Judy, this is the goal of the Trump strategy. It is to raise questions. There is no evidence that either one of them did anything wrong.
I just viewed the unclassified FD 1023 record in a skiff, proving that Joe Biden was involved in a $5 million bribery scheme to sell out the American people. Thanks a lot, big guy.
Joe Biden's been a goof his whole career. He's always been a goof. He's been caught lying so many times. Yeah. There's so much evidence that he's corrupt, just undeniable evidence of corruption. And the stuff with him and his son, and the fact that mainstream news is ignoring this, except for right-wing media, it's crazy.
There is no evidence that either one of them did anything wrong.
That there's so much overwhelming evidence of corruption that it just you begin to sort of lose focus on all of it. And as we said just a minute ago, you know, the evidence is so overwhelming, it's so damning, you can't ignore it.
There is no evidence that either one of them did anything wrong.
There was a years-long scheme to enrich members of the Biden family, and that some of this money came through various limited liability companies as well as others to gather funds from foreign entities.
This document memorialized the testimony of a trustworthy whistleblower who worked for the FBI for over a decade. This document corroborates the testimony of a foreign national who claimed to have bribed then Vice President Joe Biden.
There is no evidence that either one of them did anything wrong.
Hunter Biden himself has pled guilty.
It's indisputable that he allowed his family members to become millionaires while he was the sitting vice president by taking payments from corporations who were getting no value from said family members other than the connection to Joe Biden.
There is absolutely no evidence, and there will not be any evidence that Joe Biden did anything wrong.
There will not be any evidence that Joe Biden did anything wrong.
Can you give us an update on the House Oversight probe into the Biden family corruption scandals?
We've subpoenaed bank records 6 times of Biden business associates, and every single time, 6 out of 6 times, we found more foreign money paid to the Bidens. To me, I'm already at the point where we're above a preponderance of the evidence that the Biden family is corrupt, including Joe Biden.
And there will not be any evidence that Joe Biden did anything wrong. Enough with these wild, unfounded conspiracy theories.
So corrupt foreigners were funneling millions into the Biden family while Joe Biden was lecturing them about foreign corruption. What a racket. All these corrupt countries have dirt on the Bidens. The whole world now has the United States by the Bidens.
Joe Biden is facing charges that are in the Constitution of bribery. And if he did a quid pro quo for a foreign government when the family received money, and they can prove that, that's almost treasonous.
Zelensky snaps his fingers, and sometime soon after that, he'll get something, right? And the people of Maui are suffering, and the president's shirtless on the beach.
Well, Joe Biden and his family have enriched themselves via Ukraine and that corrupt regime and corrupt players in Ukraine to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. So, of course, he's prioritizing Ukraine over the American people. But this is what you get with America last. President Trump put America first. Joe Biden has America and America's interests and the American people last.
But setting up 20 shady shell companies to launder foreign cash to, and then spreading it out to your entire fam in order to hide it from the IRS, that's called money laundering. It's called tax evasion. It's called corruption.
Unfounded conspiracy theories using the help of foreign governments to interfere in our elections and to undermine people who've been in the public eye for a long time. And I hope that the American public rejects this, as they should.
What you've got is the hallmarks of corruption, the accounts, the LLCs, the evasion, and the money laundering. The partners come in, collect the foreign money, and then distribute it to an LLC in incremental amounts. Joe Biden is the front man. Hunter Biden is the bag man. Okay? Joe Biden goes into foreign countries lecturing them about anti-corruption, and he is representing the freest, greatest nation on earth and is wrapping himself in the flag of the United States while his son is collecting the money at the back door.
Why are we sitting silently by and watching this president do Vladimir Putin's bidding? I mean, there's no happier man in the world right now than Putin.
No one has ever thoroughly investigated the Russian purchase of 20% of America's uranium while the Russian company was giving the Clinton Foundation $37 million. I mean, she was Secretary of State. The committee she's on had to approve the sale. They approved the sale. The Russians get 1/5 of all our uranium, and she happens to get $37 million, and it never became a serious problem. You can just go on and on about this stuff, and then you get to the Bidens.
The founders put impeachment into the Constitution for a purpose. It was put there for a purpose, and I think Speaker Pelosi has been very careful not to rush to that. There were many things that came up, obstruction of justice, as outlined in the Mueller report, emoluments, all of these things that were circling around.
It's very hard to argue that having your staff take a hammer to literally physically destroy the hard drive on a computer isn't an effort to obstruct justice.
Former Secretary of State, I just want Americans to stop and think, why are we allowing this president to, in effect, undermine our sovereignty?
What is Joe Biden's end goal here? Just to let everybody into America? Until when?
You're witnessing it until all of the country resembles the same political experiment that took place in California. That is ultimately their belief, their design, and their objective. They think that having massive, uncontrolled illegal immigration will make this country a more liberal, more left-wing, less conservative country. That's their belief, that's their plan, and they're playing it through, and all the people dying are just collateral damage.
How sad. How sad.
It truly is remarkable how obsessed he remains with me, but this latest tweet is so typical of him. Nothing has been more examined and looked at than my emails. We all know that. So he's either lying or delusional or both. There was no subpoena, as he says in a tweet this morning.
Today, the Republican-led House committee investigating the Benghazi attacks subpoenaed the personal emails of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
He's either lying or delusional or both. There was no subpoena, as he says in a tweet this morning.
Congressman Trey Gowdy, he says that he did subpoena Secretary Clinton. So in that one respect, when she said she has never been subpoenaed, that actually is not true. So that is one sort of issue that she may not have been accurate
on. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. But, just seriously, I don't understand. I don't think anybody understands what motivates him other than personal grievance, other than seeking adulation.
Donald Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead.
This is something you should know. What was that? Is that a dog? Excellent.